It is time for a short update where we talk about the markets. The markets are, as we speak, just open in the US. Bitcoin is above 77K, and we have been, or there has been a projection that we would have had a Black Monday crash. But all in all, there's a case that we are having a dump after the US Open, which takes place on the NASDAQ. But quite quickly, the markets are coming back up again. And I think that there are a few scenarios that we need to discuss. And at this point, as you can see, I'm not in the studio. I'm currently preparing myself for a pretty big week. We are in Paris, going to be speaking into multiple panels, talking about Bitcoin, talking about the future, which is a very important topic to discuss at this point, given the fact that we see this type of volatility and capitulation in the market. So it's more than important to discuss. But I just wanted to be providing an update as some of you have a similar portfolio. Myself, I am having an altcoin portfolio, which, yeah, it's not really easy, right? It's always a little bit double to go into these conferences when there is so much hecticness taking place in the markets, where preferably you want to be focused on building the companies, making the right decisions, analyzing what's happening, making sure that the direction of the markets is clearly understood for everybody who is in the markets at this point. So that's a little double, but all in all, um, there are a few scenarios that we should be looking at, which is one, we are completely screwed over and the Fed is not going to step in and we're going to go down way more. That's one. Secondly, we are panicking too much, or at least the markets are panicking too much, and the markets will find itself into a sort of new low and consolidates from there, knowing that the tariffs itself are not massively inflationary. Third scenario, which is kind of in line with the second one, is we bottom out and we find ourselves into a territory where the markets are going to find itself into, I would say, good news. Because after the news came out, the only best outcome could be to provide good news that we're going to get deals, and the US is better off with a weaker dollar and with lower interest rates and a lower Brent price. The final one, most likely one, especially with these shocks, is that the Fed is going to step in, making sure that they are going to provide the required QE or necessary steps to stimulate the economy to avoid going into a massive recession, dampening the entire impact of the markets at this point, resulting into a short-term positive impact. Well, we do know that there is the actual regular meeting taking place, but there's not the case that we are having an emergency meeting. I don't believe that it's actually that important to say which one of the two it is. I think it's actually important to say that we are having the meeting, they will be speaking, and the outcome of the meeting is most important that we should be looking at. So we know for sure that there's a meeting. We know that in the previous times that we had double-digit losses in consecutive days for the stock markets, every time it was the actual final capitulation for the low where the Fed stepped in. So in 2020, it marked the crypto low, QE happened, rates were going down, dollar became weaker, everything else boomed into that big bubble. And although it might feel like it's super weird at this point, I tweeted this yesterday in a very long post where I said either Bitcoin is going to go to 20K from here or Bitcoin is going to go to 500K. And I think that I'm in the latter group. Well, in the meantime, as we are making this video, the Nasdaq is breaking back above 70,000 points, and Bitcoin reclaims 78 grand, which is very, very positive. So ultimately, I think that These extreme times of financial opportunity give you the confidence to go into the markets and to buy the actual best times possible. If you recall from 2020, that was the best time to actually purchase your assets. If we recall from 2024 in August, where we had the collapse taking place, that was a great time to buy as well for your Bitcoin. So, in that sense, it feels a little bit double where yeah, my altcoin portfolio is down a lot too, and I feel like I've been into that territory a few times. In 2020 we've been there just doing the exact same. uh, and if that is the case and I've improved my game from the previous time, then at this point I need to sit on my hands, because I think that from 6 months to 12 months from now prices are going to be higher, and in that case we are in the extreme depressive phase at this point. Um, Private markets are pretty much calming down so much that founders are getting into distressed situations. So, concluding, I think if you have the ability to do so, buy the dip as much as possible. Not financial advice, of course, but extreme periods require extreme decisions, or actually the opposite, calm decisions. Uh, And in that sense, I think that in a week or two, likely prices are going to be higher as well, as the Fed will step in and make everything better. So just take the chill pill. Enjoy the fact that we are in such a volatile period. If you have cash available, then I wouldn't be minding to jump into the markets at this point. And for the altcoin portfolio, I'm not selling. I think that the prices are going to be drastically different in the upcoming period. So no Black Monday. Likely the Fed will start to step in, will find itself into a bottom, and we reverse back up. I'll see you again on a new update on Thursday. Ciao.